Today, it is too damn cold out to continue my Axis install, so instead we're going to be taking a look at, from a beginner's perspective, how do you get into the UniFi ecosystem. This video is going to be targeting the network side of things. In the future, I might make another one to do with Protect. Alright, let's get started. When we look at installing UniFi products at home, the sky's the limit. Actually, it's your budget. So you can take this whatever direction you want. If you look at my setup, I went with the rack version. I've been building this for the last 5 years, buying different components and throwing into the rack. At my parents' house, I have smaller racks set up based around the server rack gear, but you don't need to have a server rack to have a UniFi network in your home. So the most important part of this is going to be a gateway. Now this, in simple terms, is basically just a router. Alright, so let's burn through this list. Dreamwall. No. Alright, the UniFi Express 7. This is going to be for people who will live in a very small house, an apartment, or think of like a college dorm, just not a super huge area. Something nice about this is it does resemble a router in the means that it has built-in Wi-Fi, so you won't need an external access point in order to get this up and going. You can just plug it in, you'll be rocking. It has a 10 gigabit LAN coming in and a 2.5 gigabit LAN coming out. So with that 2.5 gig LAN out, you could plug in a single computer, a single access point, or you could drop it into a switch and break that out into as many ports as you want, really. So this is a pretty good representation of what I was just saying. So here you got your Express 7 going directly into a switch, and then here they're showing that they're running 3 more access points with it, but then you could just plug whatever else in that you wanted. So on the specifications, you can see we can have 30 plus UniFi devices that would come into play with access points, switches. If I'm not mistaken, cameras are also classified under there. If you had a NVR instant, you can have 300 users simultaneously connected. Of course, all that stuff is give and take. And I also, whoever's going to have this is probably not ever going to have 300 users connected to it. This is a pretty important one. Intrusion protection, for those who don't know, is basically like a list of blocked goods. So it looks for threat signatures, and if it identifies them, it stops them from happening. This speed here is how fast that it's capable of doing that. Each device will have their own rated speed. This one's 2.3 gigabits a second. So if you had fiber internet and it was past a 2 gig plan, you are not going to receive your full speed out without deactivating your intrusion protection. Some people do. I prefer it left completely on. Alright, so that's a wrap on this. I wouldn't exactly recommend this, probably only under certain circumstances. Let's move on to the next one that I think is a better buy. That is going to be the Dream Router 7. The previous version of this is actually what I started off with in UniFi, the original UDM. So looking at this cylinder, we got 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi 7 built right in. We have 3 outgoing LAN ports and 1 incoming 2.5 gig WAN port, as well as an SFP plus port. That is interesting. I'm not sure why they did put SFP on this. Probably make a lot of sense if you could reconfigure it as a LAN and run a switch with it. Micro SD expansion slot. This is for running a very small amount of cameras, but I would not buy this product with the intention of running Protect on it. Here's actually where it says how many cameras it can handle. Again, most of the newer cameras are 4K and it can only take 1, so not a very good device for running cameras. So who is this device for? I would say tinkers who want one device that would just get you started. It can do everything. It's got the Wi-Fi and everything built in. And you just get to sample the environment. And just like myself, I think this was a pretty good device to just get into the ecosystem with. Although it didn't last long, I had to replace it with something way bigger because I just couldn't stop buying. Alright, now looking at the UCGs. These do not have Wi-Fi. This is like a router with no antennas. These two first ones can run Protect. This third one can't. The Ultra, it seems like, again, this is a really cheap product. 1 gigabit throughput on intrusion protection. Saving the $70 going from that one to this one just doesn't make sense with how much more the Max can do. Actually, let's look at this Ultra. I just realized it's by far the cheapest option to get yourself a cloud gateway. So let's just take a look at what we get in this. We have 4 LAN ports, all 1 gigabit. We have a 1 gigabit WAN port, so coming in from your modem. You have a slow internet connection at home, 300 meg, 500, even gig connection. This is probably good enough for you. But just remember, it's not going to be very future-proof. And it also doesn't run Protect, so you would need an external NVR like the NVR Instant. The only thing I would really say that this would be good for is tinkering on a budget. Alright, now for my 2 favorite ones. If you want to run a couple camera Protect system, these have built-in M.2 slots where you can pop in your own SSD. So looking at the Max model, $200 entry price here. We have a 2.5 gig WAN port, so incoming from your modem, and all 4 of the LAN ports going into your devices are 2.5 gig as well. That's pretty favorable. Intrusion protection, 2.3, so good enough for a 1 to 2 gig internet connection. Looking at our managed cameras, we got way more than like that cylinder. So we can do 5 4K cameras, 8 2K, or 15 HD. Now I can't say these work with all SSDs, but my dad does have one of these and it has a 4TB SSD in it, made by Samsung. So this 2 terabyte limit they spec on here is not correct. Now let's look at that Cloud Gateway Fiber. For the money, this thing is a unit. This should be good for a long time. Again, no Wi-Fi, but this thing is stacked with a 10 gig SFP plus for WAN and LAN. So you can run your switch directly off a 10 gig SSP port. You also have another 10 gig WAN port. This one's RJ45. So if you got a SFP plus RJ45 adapter, you could actually run 2 separate internet connections at the same time to this and have failover or load balancing. On the output, we have 4 2.5 gig RJ45 ports, and one of them even has PoE. Now I can't imagine this PoE spec's all that great, but if you wanted to run a single camera or maybe a single 4-port switch or an access point, because you might need an access point if you don't have Wi-Fi coming out of this, it will just plug and play. Plug your access point directly in there as long as it doesn't use more power than it can export. Now this baby can do intrusion protection up to 5 gig. So if you have 5 gig fiber, this is the one for you. For the money, you can't really beat it. The cameras are about the same. They're exactly the same as the Max model, so you don't get any more of those. But this thing can also run network, protect, access, talk, and connect. So for people who don't know, each one of these is basically like an application for your phone. You can install it on the device. So, of course, it's a gateway, so you should have network. Network is basically your router management software. Protect is the system that allows you to plug in cameras and record, so it's just like an application on anything else. Access. So I didn't know that was on this, but if you see my other videos of me scanning my phone to enter my house, this is the application that you need to run to use those devices. Talk. I've seen them. UniFi has like handset phones. I don't know much about them. And connect is like the EV chargers. Manage digital signatures, EV chargers, and Lutron lighting systems with ease. Lutron lighting systems? I'll have to look into that. So who is this for? I'd say most people. This device is so universal you can use it in any sort of residential application. You can use it in coffee shops, small businesses, you name it. It's got throughput for days at 5 gig of intrusion protection. The built-in NVR supports exactly like the Max. You can throw a 4TB NVMe in it, maybe even larger, and have a couple cameras hooked up as we've seen. It sips on power using a total of 30 watts, and it's likely future-proof. This, if you have the money for it, is a for sure add to cart as your first device. And these are basically just the rack versions of the stuff that we just seen. So let's wrap up the Cloud Gateway section. UniFi Express 7. Probably not. This device has another feature that I believe is why they would sell, but for our use case, I'm going to say no, you wouldn't want to use that right off the bat. Dream Router 7, good starting point. Perfect if you want an all-in-one unit, already has access point built in. You can purchase this, plug it in, and you'll have Wi-Fi in your house. The Cloud Gateways and even more of the fiber, heck yeah. Will require an access point that we'll look at in a second, but other than that, these are beautiful devices to get into the ecosystem. And the Dream Machine lineup, again, these are pretty much your only option if you want rack-mounted equipment. For home use, the Pro, probably fine. The Special Edition, I probably wouldn't buy, just for the money. There, you can spend that extra money on something else, be more important. And the Pro Max is the perfect rack-mounted unit for those people who need that 5 gig of throughput. It also has 2 bays on board, so somebody else mentioned that nobody would ever want this for their house. I think they were joking to get comments, but if this was last year and I didn't already have that UDM for 5 years, I probably would have bought that. I do need to upgrade, but I'm sandbagging it, hoping for a new one this quarter. Alright, so if you want to choose a cloud gateway, you're going to need an access point if you want Wi-Fi, so let's go quickly take a look at those. Access points are basically antennas. They're powered over Ethernet, so you only have one cable running to each device. You can place them anywhere in the house. Even if you can't get your wire all the way back to your networking location, you can use an adapter to power them, and then you use a Wi-Fi mesh. I don't recommend that. That's a last resort option. Try to get your Ethernet cables all the way to your access points. XGS, not necessary for home use. The XG, these are the ones I have in my house. I think they're as about future-proof as you're going to get currently on the market today. They have 10 gig lines coming in, which for a lot of people is probably more switching power than they're even going to have for a long time. Of course, they come in black and white, and they have this really nice flat look to them. The Pro Max, The Pro, again, I would just get the XG and spend the extra $10. Long range, I never really seen any information about how much longer long range means. One of my friends does have one of these, and it reaches surprisingly far. He just has one in his whole house, and it works just fine. Hell, it even goes through the walls and works outside. What I don't like is the fact that it doesn't have 6 gigahertz yet. 6 gigahertz is kind of niche because it only works well really close to the device. All right, looking at cheap options, the U7 Lite. Now, this does not have 6 gigahertz, but for the price of $100, I can understand it. When I originally did the network in my house, I used 5 AC lights, and that was just so I had a perfect connection everywhere. Nowadays, I use 2 XGs instead of those 5 AC lights, but I have them perfectly located where it like captures the absolute optimal amount of the room. This would be a very compelling option if you were starting off with a tight budget and just wanted something to get going. So the last thing we're going to be covering today are switches. Now, we're going to go to the utility section. So with these, slightly more money makes a massive difference. So let me show you my favorites. So switches are separated in basically 2 groups. You have non-PoE and PoE. Most of the time, you're just going to want to get a PoE switch. What's going to end up happening is if you don't, you're going to spend more money on PoE injectors. Ask me how I know. So if your internet's slow and you're not going to be doing a lot of heavy internal network transfers, these switches are good options. These only have 1 gigabit ports on them. But, well, look at this. It comes with a 60 watt adapter for $160. You get 7 Ethernets going out and 1 going in. With this 52 watt supply, you can probably power a couple access points and a couple cameras. Now, mid-grade. This is one of my favorites. I love this switch. It comes in at $200 with no power supply. You'll have to spend an extra $80 for the 210 watt adapter, but this switch is loaded. So we have a 10 gig SFP plus port and a 10 gig RJ45 port that can also take in PoE+++. On the outbound, it has 8 2.5 gig ports with PoE++. This would be awesome for running any sort of access points you might have, even the XGs. This is good enough. You could have 4, 5, 6 XGs running off this one single switch with this power delivery. So for a mid-tier switch, this is my choice. So lastly, if your pockets are deep as hell and you want to send that UCG fiber to its limit, let's go ahead and take a gander at the XG8 PoE. This puppy has 2 10 gig SFP plus ports and 8 10 gigabit PoE++ ports. If you're sprouting for the XGSs, I believe those are PoE++, you're going to need these ports to power it. Also, them being 10 gigabit, you can run it at full speed. With the PoE++ output, you could actually run smaller switches off this one completely powered. And with all that money you spent on it, you do get one extra cool feature, and that's the ports light up, so your Ethernet plugs glow. So looking at the rack mount switches real quick, again, this is just like the souped up version, the one we just checked out. We have 10 gigabit PoE++ ports, even more power delivery, with a total of 400 watt total supply. And it comes with a delicious price tag. I actually have this switch on my rack. I'm using it to power a couple switches, my computer, because I wanted 10 gig running to it, and then a PoE++ switch. Like that 2.5 gig one we looked at earlier, that one that I said was mid-grade, I'm running it powered off that switch. Something more mid-tier, for $400 you can get this PoE switch. It has 4 2.5 gig PoE++ ports and then 12 single gigabit PoE+ ports. This would be a great one for running multiple cameras and access points. Just note that if you have this in a rack, you have to get a rack adapter because it's not full length. It's actually a little bit stubbier. This is another great option. This is just the full-size version, the one I last year showed. For $800, we have 8 2.5 gig PoE++ ports, 8 gigabit PoE++ ports, and 8 PoE+ ports. That is an awesome variety, and this thing will be great for running many different devices. So I think I'm going to call it right here. We could keep going, but we're getting closer and closer to the point where you need to understand this stuff before you get in too deep. So again, if you want to start off super small, one device, the Dream Router 7, probably awesome fit for you. If you want to get a little more in depth, a little more future-proof, that UCG fiber, and then snagging one of those access points, whether it be the U7 Lite or even the XG. And looking at the switches, I'd probably go for that 2.5 gig mid-grade unit. And once you get all that stuff at home, plug it in, you are off to the races. That is pretty much all you need to start your deep dive into UniFi devices. From there, you'll get to play with it and deepen your understanding on how the network works. And once you do, things you see online will start making more sense. So I hope this video helped you guys who are trying to get into the UniFi environment and just didn't know where to start. But until the next time, I'll catch you guys later.